Which Bartow native is the mastermind behind the first Jeep? His creation was hailed by the U.S. Army as the greatest contribution to winning World War II. His test model was designed, built, and delivered in 49 days. Amazing. Join me as I discover one of the many treasures hidden in the museum in Bartow on Georgia History Today. I'd like to introduce Mr. Hubert Jordan. Did I get that correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And I thank you for giving me this tour.
And
we are in what room now? The famous folks
and heroes.
Oh, okay. There's the original Jeep. I saw that book. Mm-hmm. I'll get a picture of that too.
Yeah, Paul Bruno.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell a little bit about Paul?
Sure,
Bruno?
Please.
Paul Bruno called. My wife and I had a bed and breakfast. But Paul Bruno called and said he wanted to do a book on the first Jeep. So
yes.
He and his wife came to see us and stayed in the bed and breakfast, and he got all the information he could, but he found a lot of things. That was the original one that he did.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was in under the
taken behind the
Bantam, yeah.
Yeah, the building where the Bantams were built and mm-hmm. the first Jeep. That is actually the first Jeep in the world.
First Jeep on the assembly line.
And there it is there too also,
mm-hmm.
tested. They tested it to death.
Yeah.
And it came out that the Jeep's engine was a little smaller than the military wanted.
Yeah.
So they went back out again for people to bring Jeep-type vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Willis, well, I don't like to look at it. That's where Willis came in. They had a big, yes. He called it a Go Devil engine.
Okay.
And so they got it. And before the war was over, General Motors and Ford had built 600,000 of them.
My goodness. And I think I was doing a little reading, and they were all four-wheel drive, or most of them were four-wheel drive. And some of them I read had four-wheel turning.
That one didn't, but they did
develop it.
They had developed it.
That's amazing.
To have four-wheel drive, four-wheel turn.
With a little four-cylinder engine.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
That's amazing.
It was something.
Yeah.
But it's amazing that all these pictures were found up in Washington,
mm-hmm.
and the guy brought them all down, and they as they were building the first one,
yes,
they took pictures all along,
mm-hmm.
and he had convinced the government
yes.
that they needed to get off of mules. And this was just before World War II.
Right. But they saw the war coming. I mean, they
right. And they did. They
yeah.
did. And this was about in 1940s.
And this picture here about the Bantam Jeep,
mm-hmm.
it's got a roadster, it looks like,
yeah.
next to the Jeep. And you have something of the Bantam similar to the roadster.
It's the same type vehicle.
Yes.
And he built 300 of those.
Mm-hmm.
And my son called me one day and said, "Daddy, there's one of the Bantam
mm-hmm.
vehicles of a sale in Atlanta."
Yeah.
And I sort of said, "No." So on my 80th birthday, they locked me in the house, closed all the windows and doors, and when I finally did get out, that Jeep, just
uh-huh.
like that,
uh-huh.
was sitting out there, and he had bought it, but he says, "This is yours, but I got the title."
There you
So it's in there now.
I actually just looked on the internet and put in Bantam cars or roadster, and there are a few that are still for sale across country.
Yeah,
They're pretty price tag on them, though.
Oh, I know.
And they don't say they run.
Now, and they had, this is all about it, but back in 2000, they had the national meet of, from Evans's, there were all those little vehicles that he made up in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. A whole collection. Yeah, because that's Butler, Pennsylvania, wasn't it?
Butler, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's where his factory was.
The president just got.
Yeah, and they even made a little pickup truck.
Yes, had a little pickup truck, and these other ones, and the Jeep, and they have when they do meet, they have one ride where all the Jeeps have to go about 20 miles. And they can't be judged unless they go 20 miles.
Okay.
So they did. There they are.
Oh, okay.
It was quite a day.
Okay. So you went there on one of those events. That's great.
It sure was. It was a great thing.
And is that a grill from one of those?
Yes, it is.
They look like such
Bantam.
tiny cars that we call subcompacts now. They had them then. That's wonderful. Got all kinds.
The back seat was especially small.
And this was the Bantam, American Bantam was by Evans, who's from this town.
He was born and raised here. His father died early, and he was he had to start helping his family at about the age of 6.
Oh my goodness!
So he and his brother moved to South Florida and started the largest used car operation east of the Mississippi River. I saw him one time. When I was a boy, he came back to visit at the churches, and I got to see the guy.
I was going to ask you if you ever had a chance to meet him.
And,
that's neat.
So that he was.
Yep. And he's also buried right here in one of these local cemeteries.
He is.
Okay.
He and his brother
are
buried in the cemetery.
Okay.
I'm surprised that they did, but they did. He became very rich. Okay, this is one of the 50 Bantam cars that Roy Evans built, or his company built, up in Butler, Pennsylvania.
That was the American Bantam company?
American Bantam. And my son bought this from a place in Atlanta and hid it from me. And because I had sort of poo-pooed just buying it. But it has a 4-cylinder.
My goodness, tiny engine.
4-cylinder engine.
I've seen go-kart engines bigger than that.
Yeah, I know. And
I think they had 80 horsepower or something like that. It's just not much.
I think it's like the 30s.
Oh my goodness.
But there's some. It was 300 of them, 350 of them built.
Yes.
But like we said over there, we did have their national meet here, and there was several cars like this.
Wow.
Came.
And they made other models like that picture showed, even pickup
like
models.
A little pickup.
Yeah. That's amazing.
But this one, it was running when we put it in here. I hope it still runs.
Oh my goodness.
That, my friends, is a short story of Roy Evans of Bartow, Georgia, the mastermind behind the first Jeep. For more on this story, get one of the books linked in the description below, or stop in and visit the Bartow Museum. And subscribe to our channel to see the next episode of Georgia History Today. See ya.